I mean, boo-hooing, out of whack.
What
And
was
then,
his reason, Big Mark?
well, it was that he said that he, didn't play up to his ability and he let some people down. And I
Oh,
was like, how you
and he
figure
was how old?
man, this is the 14 you or
Oh my
something
God,
like that, man.
14 years old.
14
When
you.
we was 14, we was playing baseball, basketball, football,
Everything,
track. I mean, we did every sport.
everything. But I mean, it lays over the top is like, you're supposed to be, I don't know, maybe I'm lost in time or something, but you're supposed to be enjoying having fun, competing, but you're supposed to be enjoying having fun. I mean, the whole experience is what builds you up.
Hmm.
The whole experience, it builds you up. It builds you up to a point where, like I was saying earlier, you understand how to have relationships and bond with other people and understand means to be a team, understand what it takes in order to understand another guy's talent.
Hmm.
I know I know you handle the ball. Came
You're a
on the court. You're like, oh
rebounder.
man, and
Little
everybody
Mike
knew
was
you throw
fast.
little Mike the ball.
Little Mike was
And
fast.
yeah, it was Rock. Yeah, everybody knew Rock. You're my boy. Everybody knew when you come on the court, who dribbled the ball to the court? You throw the ball to
Get
Rock.
the rock, get
Yeah,
the
you know
rock.
what I'm saying, or whoever. Oh, big man got a nice post game. When you get down there, you don't let him cut through open and don't get him the ball. But those are things you develop that helps you during college to say, I know your talent.
You
Those
know
are
how to
things. Yeah,
improvise.
yeah.
I
Those are
think
things.
that they stole it from these kids, Mark. I think they go from high school ball, then as soon as high school is over, they straight to AAU.
They straight to AAU.
They straight to AAU. They back under the whistle. They don't have that fun that we grew up playing.
But
You
man,
know?
I think, and again, everybody sings the same tune. It's like how bad AAU is
I
because
no, it's not all bad. I just
okay,
think that some of it is too much.
but there need to be rules though. What I'm
Hmm.
saying is rules like this. So first of all, I can't have you. One of the biggest rules that I can't have you jumping from team to team to team because you don't like being on this team because they won't give you the ball. You don't like being on this team because they're not doing this. You're not being showcased on this team. It has to stop. I mean, meaning
Hmm.
that in high school, you can't jump from team to team to team.
No, you
But
can't.
even college finna have a problem. You know how many kids jumping from school to school
It's
now?
about 900 Division I transfers.
900.
900.
900. So I don't know what the remedy is. You guys might know it out there. We at IntellectualRadio.com. The number is 708-238-8953. You can hit us. You mark on the mark. But
You know
uh,
Tubby Smith?
yeah, I do know
Remember
Tubby
he
Smith.
said we teaching kids how to quit.
In a way,
You
we
know,
are
if it
teaching
don't
kids
work
how to
out,
quit.
don't work here, we go somewhere else. It don't work here, we go somewhere
You
else.
know,
You
but
think
then,
so?
but then I think it all has to boil back on do your homework because you know, we get overly excited about, when we say our kid's going to go to this school. But you know
Hmm.
what? That school might not be the right school for your kid,
Hmm.
even though it's a gigantic school. You got to have
Hmm.
an idea of what your kid is. And you talk about it, and you want them to go to a great school, a big school. But, you know, when you look at a situation where they're drafting three, I mean they're recruiting 3 point guards, and then they got two already on the team, and these two
Hmm.
are sophomores.
Ooh,
How you going to
how
that
you going?
school, even though it's a gigantic school? You can't go to that. I mean, the chances are you're not gonna. You might get a scholarship, and if that's what you're going there just to get a scholarship, fine. But if you're thinking
Yeah,
about
get the
basketball,
education,
yeah, get
right?
the education. But if you think about playing ball, man, um,
Dial it down,
dial it down, or you're gonna have to compete at a higher level. And if you don't play, you understand why.
right?
But
What you think, Mark? You think it creates confusion for these young men? Like some of these kids are getting 14 Division I offers over the course of a weekend. Like, do you? It makes it hard to believe who really wants you, don't it?
well, I think it does, but you got to understand yourself, though.
Hmm.
I mean, I knew for a fact that um, when I came out, different schools that I was Xing out from day one. I'm not going to
Hmm.
waste your time. You're not going to waste my time. I'm Xing them schools out. Like, there's no need of us playing around.
Hmm.
Out of the 14 that kid got this weekend, I guarantee you, 9 of them.
I just
Yeah,
offering because
they
other kids, schools are
offering,
offering.
they're offering. But think about you as a person.
Right.
You don't want you're not going to that school, so you can X those out. You're
I
not
know
going
it's
to
one
go.
school in particular offered like 9 guards from here in Chicago. I won't say the school's name.
9 guards.
9 guards
So what are they going to do? Okay.
from the same class, 2019.
Well, they just throwing the hooks out there and just figure which one they're going to get.
I'm
So
like, if you didn't offer that many people, do you really want me?
Well, that's something you got to put into the equation. What are you really gonna do? What are you gonna really do? But back at this kid, man. This kid, he was balling, man. I mean, balling, upset, and then we got to talking. I really felt for him because I know him a little bit, and we went over to I told my Facebook friends a minute ago. We went over to another court. You know how they had them court, some of them
Mm-hmm.
nobody on, and we just for a minute, we forgot about all of that. We just started shooting jumpers, and just talking about stuff. We got talking about, we got into stuff like who got the best euro and what makes a euro step.
Oh,
How you do it.
so you took them away from it, from
For a
that
minute,
world,
yeah, for a minute, then I was
right?
talking about, well, we did this and we did that, and then we got to comparing shots, and we got to talk about this and about that, and that, in that little minute, that was all basketball. We were just talking about doing basketball, and in my mind, I was like, well, that's what I enjoyed, the fact that, I was learning something new about basketball, or we
Mm-hmm.
were, trying a new move, or it was a move I couldn't do. And then I go
Mm-hmm.
on the court, see if I
Or
could
you seen
do it.
somebody do it and you be like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
when I
want
go
that.
home,
Yeah, I'm gonna work
that's
it.
stolen.
Yeah, I'm taking that. I'm taking that. But
Right,
those are the things that we were thinking about,
right.
rather than saying that I play. I mean, you play a bad game, you upset, but man, if I'm upset at that game, man, I'm going back home and go play some baseball.
You're right.
I'm going to
Or
play some
football
baseball or
in the street.
football. Yeah, I'm going.
It was
But
just too much for us to do, man. And I think that they steal it from these kids, man.
I
Everybody, like
guess,
you said it earlier in one of your other shows, everybody think their kid is going to the NBA.
well, it ain't happening.
It
It
ain't
ain't happening.
happening.
So when you look at it, let's talk about it. When you look at it, excuse me, when you took in terms of the AAU, is that it's wild. I mean, it's wild. I see kids this week on this team, and then next week he on that team, and then a week after that he on this team. And what
Well,
I'm
say in
trying,
the same tournament, he switched jerseys and gonna play
yeah, but,
with another team in the same
but here's a
tournament.
question for all you guys out there. I hope you're on this and listening to. Here's a question for this: is that if you allow a kid to do that and go from team to team, not how it affects the kid that's moving, how does it affect the kids who are already on the team?
Yeah.
Meaning that,
Like,
okay, so
dang.
now here this guy come, and now because you recruited him and he's the stud, so now
You
we
move
all got to
down.
change. Yeah, I got to change my whole stuff to fit him now, rather
Mhm.
than saying we're a team. We're not a team at that point.
Right.
I mean, we're not a team. We're a stopping place for this guy to get his talents on. Now all the balls go to him. We're directing the ball go to him. Now the team concept is out again.
It's disrupted.
We're not a team now because we're throwing
Right.
the ball to him. He's supposed to score. And my game isn't supposed to elevate anymore. We don't have an offensive concept. We don't have any of that because we brought this guy on. So what are we saying about a team? What are we saying about basketball? What are we saying?
Well, in a nutshell, Big Mark, it's just like you always say, it's a plethora of people out here that's teaching basketball that's not really teaching basketball.
They're not teaching. I mean,
It's hard for me. I can get a guy who didn't play and still can coach if he knows his X's and O's.
right.
But these make money coaches, the coaches that see the money for this stuff, that's what's ruining the game.
So at the end of the day, you're saying is that the fact that he wants the best team so he can get the best money for
They just getting kids because kids pay $1,000 per kid, and you got 10 kids. That's 10 grand, man. And you
wow.
got 5 teams, man. That's 50 grand. You get 50 grand for 3 months worth of work, man. I think you're doing pretty damn good, big dog.
That's good money.
That's good money,
That's
man.
good money.
And you do that 3-4 times a year.
Wow.
That's what they do, man. And they play on these parents, man, because not a knock on the black community, but the vast majority of the kids that participate in AAU coming from single family homes, which are run by women, single black women.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. I mean, I could have an idea, but I didn't know that. Hey, we're at IntellectualRadio.com. The number is 708-223-8953.
I want to switch gears for you, though, man. I want to give you a shout, big fella. You got your own day coming up, man. Talk about that, man.
I have my own day coming up,
Talk about that, man.
You know more about it than I do.
Yeah, I do, man. August 26th, man. Pontiac, Illinois, man. The pub down there, man, they decided to give Mark Aguirre his own day. So it's Mark Aguirre Day down there. August 26th. So we going down there to do the show live.
But it's linked with the Boys and Girls Club.
It's linked with all proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Club down there.
Yeah.
They got the place shut down. I mean, the media and everything. You did an interview the other day.
Yeah.
You got an interview coming up with the radio station down there.
Yeah,
so all that media outlets gonna be down there to hype Mark up, and give him his love. Chicago, come on, man. What's up?
Well, I just want them to follow suit. I mean, I'm here. I get a lot of requests from people, and I try to vet the requests for things that they want to do, and it's really hard because you get a lot of them. But I do, and I vet. My sister Angie, she kind of helps me with vetting a lot of these things. Hey, my sister.
That's your twin, bro. That's twin. That's his what? They relationship like this.
I got to say hello to all my daughters. I miss y'all. I miss y'all so bad. I'm up in Chicago and they're down in Dallas. I miss y'all so bad, but I'll be home in a minute. I get these requests, and I want you guys to keep and there's no request that's too small. I want you guys to understand, and if I don't, it's for a reason. But there's no request that's too small. I mean, I did one thing. It was for 3 kids who had done all kinds of little pictures of me. And they wrote my name and put pictures of me, and they sent them. Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't a big thing. It was just a teacher saying that these kids saw you and they just loved you, and it was only 3 kids, but
that could change their world.
Well, what I'm saying is that for them to think like that,
right,
and do what they did, I got time for that.
Yeah, and they would think a big guy like you. No,
I got time for that.
That's one thing, you grounded in that area, man, and that's hard to find, bro.
No, well, I did that, and I went to Betty Shabazz school. I went to that school, and then I went to a lot of charter schools too, man. I go to a lot of charter schools. I'm not knocking the school system because I'm not educated enough to know on their what they do and how they do it. But
it's the toughest job in the world.
It's a very tough job, man. It's a very tough
shout
job,
out to the teachers, man, for working with the kids.
And y'all don't get enough money.
No.
So I'm dropping that now. They need to figure out how to flip that thing over, man. So education. And
since you on the school tip, your boy just did something. Your man
LeBron. Yo, LeBron, man. Listen, let me tell you. I told you guys a long time ago. Hey, IntellectualRadio.com, 708-223-8953 if you want to call in. Let me tell you. See, we talked when I first started this show. You guys letting people guide you in the wrong direction, okay? Because they end up telling you about all these good guys and all these great guys. And let me let you know, the proof is in the pudding. Oh, I don't like LeBron. Oh, he's a crybaby. He do okay. All of them crybabies at one point. All of them crybabies at one point. So I don't want to hear all of that. They have their thing, and you might not like LeBron for a certain reason. But when you talk about somebody who is grounded and who look at the issues that pertaining that he can make a difference in, I don't know if nobody in the NBA is not in history. There's a lot of guys that do a lot of great things,
right?
But in his era, is doing a better job than trying to plug the holes and fill the gaps of some things that he can actually accomplish. I don't know if there's anybody doing that better than LeBron James right now.
That's cool. I promise, man.
If you do, you let me know who that person is, and we'll highlight them and talk about what they're doing.
He said the school offering free lunch,
man,
free bikes for the kids.
Man,
then when they graduate, they get to go University of Akron for free.
Come on.
And then the parents, they get like free buses
Listen,
to work,
man,
and he gonna help them get jobs, and that's what I'm talking about when you got $500 million in the bank.
Yeah, but you know what? But let me tell you what he's doing.
Even his money.
But let me tell you what he's doing. He's bringing in the corporate world with him. You know what I'm saying? He's going out of his pocket a little bit, but he's like, all you people in Akron that's making all this money, I'm stepping up. And I'm telling y'all got to step up too.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is.
That's what he's doing. He's making them step up. Magic did a lot of that, making people step up. And everybody's not going to do this, but that comes from LeBron from day one. And he signed with Nike. Man, he used to carry a trunk full of shoes, and he didn't do nothing but give them away. He just gave
So
him away.
grounded, man. Such a
So
grounded kid, man.
you know,
Not a kid, young man. The
yeah,
man is
I love him for what he does, man.
oh
I really love
man.
him for what he
I
does.
mean, I'm
So
just so glad he kept the excellence. For like you guys, y'all generation set a standard, and then y'all set a standard for Mike them, and then Mike them
but it
set
ain't
a
about
standard.
you.
Right.
If
And
you
but
feel,
y'all kept setting that standard, man,
yeah, but if
of
you,
excellence.
yeah, you're right. But if you understand that it's not about you, it's easy. But as a professional athlete, you can go to thinking it is about you. And once you go to thinking it is about you,
It's over with.
you can get lost.
It's over with.
It's not about you, man. I mean, you're in a great position, but shoot, this picture is so big, man. It's gigantic. It's huge.
So do you agree that athletes are role models?
You have to take it. It's not a
Something
if
that you
or
can
that.
just slide to the
No, when
side.
you
That's
become
your
a pro
obligation.
athlete, that's your obligation. When you become a pro athlete, there are certain rules and standards and things that you need to abide by. That
Right.
it comes with the job.
Comes with the job,
No, you
man.
can't say I want to be this and not be a role model. Hold on. So you want to get on TV
Mhm.
that pays you in front of all our kids and act a jerk. So you know what I'm saying? So hold on, what are you saying?
And the kids wearing your shoes.
Hey, hold it. But that team that pay you tell you what you can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you extend that respect to the families that's paying you too? Because they're spending dollars. So, but you do all the rules that the team tells you to do. You're not finna. Okay, I got to do all these rules.
Right.
But then when you talk about a rule that's pertaining to the way you should act in front of my child, so you don't want to go with those rules,
Yeah,
huh? No,
man.
Come on.
I think Charles Barkley was just joking when he did
Well,
that commercial back
I know
then.
Charles. He was, Charles just
joking,
dropped
right?
a few things like that. But Charles is a role model. Charles do a lot of great things, man.
He is.
He did that. He shocked people with that, and it did this deal. But when you talk to Charles, man, listen.
Yeah, that brother grounded, man.
Yeah, talk to Charles, man. It went a long way. We still talking about it.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, we're still talking about it. But if you talk to Charles, that's not it. We're all role models. Everybody up in this office is a role model to somebody. So you got to be. I mean, that's like the village. Raising a child. So we have to be there. I gotta shift over this. We're in Chicago. We're talking about Chicago, and I really want to spend some time. Oh, we got to call Kenny in a minute, man.
Yeah, Kenny McReynolds, call in if you're watching, big dog.
Let me wanted to be I don't know how to do it. Wanda
Kenny
out there.
McReynolds, call in, and we'll call
Kenny.
you, big guy.
You know what? I'm gonna take a couple minute break, and we're gonna get Kenny on the phone because this next segment, he has a lot of expertise at it. We'll call you back in a minute. We'll be back in a second. On the mark at IntellectualRadio.com. I have the pleasure now is that, I'm trying to just spread this news and anything I can around. I have a friend online. You all know, if anybody in Chicago know him, everybody know him. He's been here and a part of the fabric of what built Chicago basketball. And yeah, come on, man. Kenny, you on the line, man?
I'm on the line.
Kenny McReynolds.
Kenny McReynolds on the line. Listen, Kenny, I just want to drop a little bit on. When did we meet the first time, Kenny? Where were we at when we met the first time?
You were at Westinghouse.
I was at Westinghouse, and you was walking around with your total radio station on your hip, right?
Yep, so it was. I was looking at UIC's radio station, WUIC. It was UIC's college radio station, and we used to do some West Side basketball games and things, and we became really good friends. I was like, man, this guy's pretty damn good. This Mark Aguirre guy's going to be all right one day.
Going to be all right, But I was like, this guy walk up to me, and I was like, oh, you come want to do an interview. I was like, hold on. Who is this guy, man? Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
I say, oh, okay, I like him. I like him.
Let me say one thing about Mark Aguirre to people. People ask me all the time, because, I'm like a basketball guy. Who was the best this? Who was the best that? I never hesitate to say the best collegiate basketball player to play in the city of Chicago during my time that I saw, because I didn't see George Mikan, was Mark Aguirre.
Wow.
And I want people to remember, Mark averaged 25 points a game without gunning and without a three-point shot. So let's say Mark was a gun, like some people were in college, and had a three-point shot. Mark, man, averaged 40 points a game easy, but he didn't gun because he had so much help. He had Terry, he had Teddy, he had Mitchum, he had Bradshaw. The most underrated player of the group, I thought, was Curtis Watkins, the most valuable one, because he did all the dirty work.
He did the dirty work, yeah.
Can you guys imagine what Mark would have done if he had gunned or had a three-point shot? And remember, he is still DePaul's all-time leading scorer. Still, to this day. To this day.
I didn't know that.
Mark didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. I don't keep up with that stuff, man.
You that's for the fans?
I don't know that, man. I don't keep, man. People think that I don't know that.
Be looking in that stuff.
I have no idea. With Quentin Richardson coming through there, with what's that one boy named David Booth? I saw he was scoring
number 2.
Huh?
David Booth is number 2.
Is he?
Mark is still the only basketball player in DePaul history to score 2,000 points. Booth was at 1,900 in his 4 years. Mark scored over 2,100 in 3 years.
I don't know none of that. See, that's his job, though. That's Kenny's job. But see, I want to get into you a little bit, man. I know you're dropping on me. Is that what people don't understand, man? Is that and I really want to get this out here, that you did the dirty work, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you let it be known, and you covered people for what their essence was. Because see, when I got friends with them, because see, the big thing that was rolling around Chicago was that our players weren't considered to be national players when I came up. You know that, Kenny. Right. Chicago didn't have a foothold of saying that we have some of the best players. Yeah. And Kenny, he was out there talking about no. Y'all talking about that boy over there, them Albert Kings and all of them. We got boys that's cold as them.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, he was pushing us early, because our high school, believe it or not, when I came through, our high school wasn't. High school basketball in Chicago wasn't really nationally put in the light that it should be. And no, it wasn't. I mean, know it wasn't, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right, Mark. And I think, like, right now, a lot of people always consider me like the voice of high school sports, especially basketball in Chicago, especially when we do our games on MeTV and on the CN 100. But I saw an opening there that I'm like, nobody's covering these guys. When I worked at Fox, I used to sometimes anchor my 9 o'clock newscast from a high school gym, from a high school basketball game.
Wow.
When I worked at WBMX, I would do my afternoon sportscast from a high school basketball game. Now it's the end thing to have Sports Weekly and High School Lights and all these high school basketball coverage. But when I started, I was the only one to do it. And nobody was doing it on the radio or TV except for me. But one thing about Chicago, people copied what's successful. And people saw that what I was doing was successful. So now it's the end thing to do. But when I was doing it, I can honestly say without boasting that I changed the way high school sports is covered in the city of Chicago.
But you were the only one doing it, though, man.
Absolutely. I can agree.
But you know what, Kenny? I can say, and I know you got things I can say is that what you had, though, is that something that I don't think will ever happen again is that amongst all the ball players, during that era, and you had some incredible, great ball players during that era, is that we had a relationship and trust between us.
Right.
That was the biggest thing, is that, because you understood is the fact that we're high school basketball players, and we're young kids, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to do things, and you would not cover up the mistakes, but you would say, hey, listen, man, that was wrong. I'm not going to cover that, but you can't be doing that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And because you got to remember too, I was about the same age as you guys too.
Yes.
A year or two older.
Yes.
Than a lot of guys were. And there's a lot of guys that did things I would say, hey, look, man, look, I'm not going to say anything about this, but you have a future. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I mean, there are a lot of high school basketball stars, Mark, that were hungry, would come over my house. And I would feed them. My mother, as you well know.
I know your mom. I ate over there. I pigged out. I pigged out. I gave him a biggest grocery bill.
Yeah. But that was okay, because if the kid needs something to eat, feed him. If the kid needs tuition paid, pay it. I mean, I've paid high school tuition for a superstar.
I know you have, man.
But we had a relationship. We had a friendship. There's nothing wrong with helping people if you can help people. I don't like to talk about me, but I like to help the youngsters out. And if you can do it, why not do it?
No, well, see, I just want to let people know, because I know you're not going to talk about it, and this is my chance to let it be known, because when we talk about this era, which I hate to, compare them, is the fact that, this era now is take era. Everybody's trying to take whatever they can from their relationship with all these young ball players, and there's very few that extend their expertise to help. There are some that do it. They're not all gone, but there are few and far between now, man. I just hate it that it's like that. But when we were coming up, when nobody getting paid, wasn't no coaches being paid, they were going in their pocket to put us in the tournaments. They were, like Kenny say, they were, holding off things to get us shoes, and then there was no rainbow at the end of that tunnel for them, like they're going to get paid for nobody. And you just explained, you were feeding people, you're doing everything, and now it has flipped, Kenny. I mean, it's flipped so bad, man, that I was explaining, I was at an AAU game the other day, and I watched one kid play this week on one team, and because they didn't do what he needed them to do, he went on another team, and then the next week he was on another team.
Right.
And I'm like, how does a coach go to sleep at night knowing that this kid jumped from one team to another because he's pissed at something? How do you take that kid?
And also a lot of it has to do with the parents. Because a lot of coaches get their parents to say, hey, look, you let him play with me, I can give him a college scholarship. And parents fall into that. But my thing is, look, you make a choice, son, where you want to go to school, what AAU team you're going to play on. You make that choice. That's it. That's where you're going. That's it. Nothing upsets me more than seeing a high school kid at a basketball game stand up and 20 people stand up with him.
Wow.
He goes left, they go left.
Wow.
Now, when that kid doesn't make it to the big time, you're not going to find those 20 people.
They're gone.
Because they're gone.
They're gone.
Those people are gone. They're all, everybody got to have a posse nowadays. When Mark Aguirre was at Westinghouse, after the game, Mark was with his teammates. And that's
it. With
now,
my teammates.
You got 20 guys. Everybody wants to be your buddy. Everybody wants to be in your posse. And everybody wants to do something. And then when somebody in that posse gets in trouble, whose name's in the paper? That student athlete's name's in the paper.
First name in
the paper.
Man, he's done nothing.
And he's done nothing, but his boys do something. So, and here's one thing I always tell youngsters that when they listen to me, I'll tell them. I said, look, if you didn't have these friends when you were in high school and grammar school, now you're in the NBA, you don't need them.
You don't need them. You know what? You know what? You are so true. And I hope kids are listening to this. I'm going to keep you 2 more seconds, Kenny. You just touched on the thing is that, this is when I look at things in a totally different view, is that I'm coming out of Westinghouse High School, and I'm considered the #1 high school basketball player in the country. So, there's a lot going on. And I got all of these schools looking at me, to play, and, they're throwing everything at you, So, we had respect for the integrity of who I was and who my family was. And I went home from, I had visited Colorado. I can't remember who I visited, but I visited UCLA. I went to UCLA. And when I went to UCLA, the first time in California for me, right?
Right.
And I went to UCLA, and they had around flip flops and shorts, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is incredible, right? So I travel back home and I go see my mom, and I got all these schools, and this is how it stands in me today. That's why I think kids need to be taught that when my mom came back home, she said, okay, so now you got these other schools here still looking at you, and you know you're not going to them. You know, she said, yeah, she was like, you need to call them up and let these people know. You know you're not going. You know, so don't be.
Your mom didn't want you to leave.
But it was no. She didn't care. She didn't want me to drag these people out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Huh? Yeah. She said, look, you're not going there. Right. You don't talk about them. You know you're not going there. So listen, be a man and step up and call that coach and tell him you're not going to come to school. You know, and that's something that is embedded in today. That the fact that I can do that not as pertaining to basketball, it's pertaining to anything else I do. You know, and people have respect for that. So at that point, I was like, look, she says you need to call. And I called them and I let them know. And now I see some of those coaches now, and we talk about the fact that, man, listen, it was so great that I had another kid on the line, but I would have never got that kid because I was waiting on you.
Right.
But I told him that I wasn't coming. He was able to go get a kid to help his program instead of waiting on me. You know what I'm saying? So, Kenny, I mean, I just hate that we've lost the integrity of the entire game.
Oh, I agree. I agree, Mark.
I hate that.
I'll say one thing, though, and I want all your listeners to realize this. Remember back in that Mark Aguirre era, before Michael Jordan, it wasn't people wanted to be like Mike. People wanted to be Mark. People wanted to be Mark Aguirre. Yeah. That was the impact he had, not only on DePaul, but the entire basketball world. People wanted to be Mark Aguirre, which is a really good thing.
Well, you know what? I appreciate that, man. And I just tried to carry it the right way. I know I had some ups and downs and some bumps, but I just tried to carry it right day for more than anything for the city that made me. Everybody, you, my coach, all my little friends that kept me out of problems, all the little gangbangers around there. Mark, get out of here. You don't need to be here. I thank all of them too. So
it's good that they did that. They don't do that to the young guys now.
No, they don't. No, see, they didn't want us.
I'll say one thing, and you know what? I don't want to be beating a dead horse, but it is a damn shame, and I think it's almost criminal that Mark Aguirre is not in the Naismith Hall of Fame. That is absolutely criminal.
Well, I say, Kenny, to just let you understand where I come from and the way I think about that is that, all my coaches, I worked on the truth. I don't work on the brass and the silver and the gold that people give me. I work on the truth, and that when I look at the body of work and when I look at my colleagues in the face on a day-to-day basis, when they see me, that's enough gratitude. The fact that, when it came down to the trenches, there was only a few of us could do it a certain way, and once they give me that respect, from the Magics and the Birds and the Ewings and the, you name it, the Worthies, the Dominiques, the, they know. Yeah, we know. So I'm good with that.
You don't get that call though, Kenny.
I'm good with that.
Hey. Well, it's a crime. It is a crime because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, although he averaged 20 points a game for 13 years and won 2 NBA championships, was a 3-time All-Star. But remember, it is the overall basketball work. He was the best college player for 3 years. He went to the Final Four. He was a college Naismith Award winner. He's a college basketball player. He's the best high school player in the country. So, I mean, what else can a man do? He's done everything you're supposed to do to be in the Naismith Hall of Fame.
They put T Mac in there over Mar.
Well, that was a damn. That was ridiculous.
Come on, man, T Mac.
That was ridiculous.
That was a popularity contest move, wasn't it?
Well, that's why he went on ESPN and started doing that show.
Yeah,
name out, his face out.
Well, I think
exactly why he did it.
Well, I think it kind of rolls in the fact that the money. I mean, it's the money now. I mean, I think that when I look at Red Auerbach and, when I look at that era, they were purist in basketball.
Phil Jackson.
They were purists. They were purists in basketball. They were purists because, when you talk, Red Auerbach talked on a thing, he would talk about not Boston Celtics. He would talk about another player. Now, this player is one of the best to ever. It wasn't a Celtic. It was just pure basketball. Like he had Julius on there. Oh, he had Julius on his show. You remember he was doing that?
He used to have that show.
Go back and look at those shows.
Yeah, he have them doing one-on-one.
Hubie Brown. When you listen to Hubie Brown,
I love Hubie Brown.
Hubie Brown talk about purists. He talk about, listen, I don't care what anybody say, but that guy right there, he can play.
Yeah.
You know, and he just dropped.
Hubie know his stuff.
And then he talk about the guys who he won't directly go at him. He say, look, you got to do a better job than that. If you want to carry this kind of title, you got to do a better job than that. He'll call them out, But hey, Kenny, man, I kept you on here. I just want to say, our relationship and the times that I played in high school basketball, and then even after at DePaul.
At DePaul, too.
We had a relationship that was as pure as it can be. And I love the fact that we could be friends and we could talk basketball and share things that really affect people and count when it comes time to you being able to rely on people. And it's not, it's not the ESPNs and it's not all the big boys, but in a personal manner with personal people, that in my heart is big to me because that's important to me. So I just want to thank you for being that.
I appreciate it, Mark, and I agree with you 100%. It doesn't have to be ESPN and NBC and all ABC and all that. No. I'd rather have a friend from a personal relationship than some phony that doesn't mean much to me. And that's why I told you guys I'll be glad to come on today. And I want to wish you nothing but the best with Mark on the Mark. And you guys are doing a wonderful job, Mark. And hopefully one day we'll be on the sidelines coaching a basketball team if that's what you choose to do.
Well, that would be nice, but I'm too politically correct for most people. So.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Hey, Kenny, they finna make the announcement for the Chicago State coach, man. We was hoping Mark was gonna get that job.
Yes, Lance Irvin.
They gonna Lance Irvin?
Yeah, Lance Irvin.
Okay, that's a good deal.
We were talking about on the way here.
That's a good deal.
Shout out to Lance Irvin, man. You got the job.
Congratulations, man.
Kenny McReynolds just broke it right here on Mark of the Bar.
I didn't know.
They was supposed to break it tomorrow.
Okay,
I didn't
sweet.
know they were going to break it tomorrow. They call a press conference tomorrow.
It's supposed to be tomorrow.
Kenny, I don't know nothing about none of that.
Yeah, it's going to be Lance Irvin.
Okay, sweet, man.
Yeah.
Hey, sweet, man. Hey, well, thank you, man, for all that you do, and we just appreciate you for being the guy that you really are, man. Thank you.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys for having me on, and I'd love to come back anytime you guys can have me.
Hey, thank you.
Right,
appreciate
man,
that.
be good,
That's
brother.
Kenny McReynolds, man.
All right,
he's the beginning of all of it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Well, you just heard it here again. Lance Irvin.
Lance Irvin got the job.
Head coach at Chicago State.
News been broke right here.
Wow. Okay, so y'all got to go over there and support my boy. You got to go over there and get behind him. I'm going to go over there and get behind him.
Lance, two of my sons over there now. Come on now. Oh, man, it's all good, though, man.
That's
they keep
good
it in
for
the
Chicago,
family.
man. That's good for Chicago.
And they all about winning.
Yeah, well, good.
That family.
They win.
They win.
They win. And if they give him a chance, he'll do it.
They gave him a chance.
Yeah. Really, they got to get behind him now.
Well, if he get that 8 years that Trey Deal got.
Well, they got to get behind him and all. It's so many things.
So many other factors that go with it.
It's so much stuff. They got to support him in so many other different ways because you're competing against gigantic schools, and then when you look at it, is that, kids visit your school, they're impressed by certain things, and then that costs, you got to raise capital from different boosters, and you got to raise money in order to attract that good kid. That's why you see these universities building the science building and building the law building, because they're trying to attract the top kids. So, it's a business to them too. So, hey, that's a good deal, man.
Shout out to the Irvins, man. Y'all shaking it up in Chicago, man.
Let's do it, man. Well, see, that's Kenny Mack.
I know Mark gonna be back over there.
Oh, yeah. I'm going.
You're going to be back up in there.
Yeah, Lance. I got to go in there. I got to support my boy Lance. Yeah,
congratulations, man. Chicago needed that. They needed a boost. And I was going to bet you on something else. I'm glad I didn't bet you.
What you want to bet me on?
I said they might get somebody else. I was like, you think they're going to get Lance on the way here?
Yeah. We were thinking something different on the way up here. Yeah, we were totally thinking something different. But then at the end, though, we thought it could be. It could go that way. Yeah.
When he threw his name in the hat,
it was like,
he might very well get that.
It was attractive.
Yeah.
It was very attractive. Yeah.
Because he appealed to young men too.
Yeah, and then his family has a connection in the city.
Right.
And they really need to, like all schools need to connect. I mean, I think all our schools need to connect back to Chicago.
Well, all of our players leave.
Well, see, I guarantee you, he's going to get a lot more kids than not. Because just by the association.
Well, the number one thing over there is going to have to be start with the academic and the financial piece, because they're in such a tough situation academically and financially.
Yeah.
So he got his hands full.
Yeah, he got his hands full. But you know what, though? I think if he sell the experience and the kids understand that, college basketball is college basketball, but it's the entire experience.
Right.
Meaning the process of understanding what this education is all about. Right. Saying that you're in it, but let me tell you how golden this is while you're here.
Yeah.
And really getting it over to them and explaining to them how the people who support Chicago State and the people who are in the city of Chicago, how important they are to your future. Mm-hmm. So this educational process is just as valuable to you as coming to practice every day.
You will never experience anything like college if you don't experience it. You got to do it.
You got to do it the right way.
If you're going to go,
you got to do it the right way.
You got to do it the right way.
You got to do it the right way.
You will have lifelong friends, and boy, the party and oh boy.
Man, look at that.
I was with one of my boys last night. He turned 50, man, from Jackson State, boy.
See, I didn't get to do all that when I was in college.
Yeah, right, Bob. You was too busy downtown at Sweets.
Dog, I'm serious. I didn't get to do that, man.
You didn't party at all?
Man, very rarely.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't. It got to be.
Yeah, because everybody was on you, man. Everywhere you went.
It got to be so big, man, that
you couldn't.
They kind of slid me in as people say. I was kind of in the Chicagoland. I was kind of Jordan before Jordan.
You was, man.
Yeah. So
man, that's crazy though.
But I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do much. I just
everywhere you went, people was on you, man. Yeah. But the good thing about it, Mark, man, I want to congratulate you on that. The fact that you kept your nose clean. Nothing never came up about you, man.
Took care of me, man.
Yeah, man.
I could have fell into many holes, as you know it, and it's easy to fall into.
It's so easy.
And but I had people like, "Get out of here! What are you doing? Get out of here!" We at IntellectualRadio.com. We got a few more minutes here. 708-223-8953, and I just want to thank you guys. I really try to bring something unique to you, and Bob work on different things like the Mark Day and the Chicago State, and I appreciate you for being on top of all of those
always,
different things, man, because they're important to the people who are following us on television.
I mean, you really opening up Chicago, man, with your live streams and all that.
I see a lot of other people doing this now. Hold on,
yeah.
Did I ignite a few ball players, man? I'm like, hold on,
copycat time.
Yeah, I see them on now. I say, hold on, where did this guy come from?
Yeah,
I see. Yeah, I can't believe that. So here
y'all gonna say no names.
Yeah, a lot of names now. I'm like, hold on, where y'all coming from?
Yeah,
I didn't see no ball players on the doing this thing. Now I see. What's up with that?
I said, Mark, man, did you see such and such, man? He went live the other day.
Yeah, he went live. Yeah, now they're going live. But see, y'all don't have
only be one.
But see, y'all don't have the voice, and y'all don't have the posture and the commanding, statures. So you can't get into it like me.
Mark, I was watching the All-Star game, one of y'all old All-Star games, real quick.
Right.
And it was you, Isaiah, Magic, all y'all. I think it was like 98.
I don't know, man.
I was watching that game. Or was it the All-Star game in Chicago that year?
Man, move on. Whatever it was.
I was just watching it, man, and I was just like, man, y'all probably had damn near 200 points in them damn games.
Well, nobody guard nobody. Shoot, my first game after the All-Star game was probably a away game in LA. So all I could do was fly back to Dallas, get my bag, and then have to play a national game against. And we one game behind them. Man, I can't leave it at the All-Star game.
Right.
So I'm like, give me some points and let me get back to this plane so I can get back home.
What was that like, though, man? I just wanted to ask you that. I know we got a small time to be on that floor with all those guys. I mean, Parrish, McHale, Fat Lever. Dude, y'all had a great collection of talent out there, man.
Well, I think from my point of view is that when I looked at that, it was like every guy in here has done a lot to get here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot. And then when I look at him, I have total respect for what you are and what you've done. That to me, when I look at you, I say, boy, you cold. You know, I look at that boy over there, I say, boy, you cold.
To him like that.
But how you not?
Because
I'm out here.
A lot of dudes be hating.
But you know what though? Haters don't never get to the top.
Right.
You guarantee you, haters don't never get to the top, man. They just don't never get to the top. So if you got a guy hating like that, man, and he don't like this player or don't like that player, I guarantee you it's always hating.
You got a call, Big
We got
Mod.
a caller in. I don't know how to go there. How you do it?
Okay.
Hey, caller, you're on. Let me know who you are and where you from.
I'm from the city of Chicago.
Oh, what's happening, man? What's your name?
Hey, how you doing, Mark and Rob?
What's up, buddy?
What's your name?
My name is Mississippi Slab from Chicago Millionaire Radio.
Oh, see now, here you go. What's happening, man?
What's up, Slizzle?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to call to tell y'all, man, what a magnificent job you guys are doing, man. Y'all make an awesome team, and I'm really happy to say that finally that I'm starting to see things turn around there at Intellectual Radio. I mean, there's a lot of great and wonderful things starting to happen, man. I'm just happy to be a part of that, and also to be a person that I can absolutely say that I enjoy watching you too.
Oh, well, appreciate that, man.
Slab, thanks for being the best co-host, man, in the history of co-hosts, bro.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Well, see, here we are, and we are at this place, and we just enjoy it, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys.
We got to wrap up, Slab.
We got to wrap up. I appreciate you guys. Come see us next week, same time, same bat station. Love you. Anything you want to know, just shoot it to me and let me know. I want to look at all programs, and the programs that I think are going to help somebody, you'll get a call from me.
If y'all interested in going to Mark's Day down there, August 26th.
August 26th, yeah.
In Pontiac, Illinois, man. Hit us up, man.
They packed already.
Yeah, they packed already.
Yeah, they packed
I know.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I'm up out of here, baby.
Come on, man.
Big fella.